chapter 8 in my book. It's called Dealing with Diversity, Athletics and Race Relations. It says, ignorance is the harbinger of fear. But for many, the less we know about something or someone, the more anxiety it produces when we are surrounded by it. For those growing up in the Deep South, race relations has always been contentious. It stems predominantly from a poor understanding of cultural divides, of the struggles for freedoms and acceptance some take for granted, of the divergence in how we worship, what we wear, how we speak, what we listen to, how we relate to others. Differences bring about contempt when an ingrained societal belief system dominates the spirit and permeates the culture. All races of people tend to flock toward their own because we find comfort in similarities. The homogeneous makeup of communities, churches, teams, schools, and businesses is understandable, considering the stereotypes and thought patterns ingrained in our culture. The sad reality is that the diversity we fear and which separates us prevents us from enriching one another, learning from each other, working together for common purposes, seeking and enjoying unity. Sports is light years ahead of society with regard to race relations. I'm appreciative for my experiences in athletics that have enabled me to build trust, friendships, respect, and acceptance among teammates who look very different than I do. More than teammates, these young men are brothers to me, guys for whom I would have then and to this day would now lay down my life. Society, politics, cultural reservations, race baiters all seek to erect barriers, spew hatred, scream loudly about what divides us in an effort to maintain influence, power, and payouts. The commonality we share, the passions that we hold dear, the way of life we strive to achieve, do not make for good press points, TV shows, or storylines. Division, finger-pointing, fear-mongering, all stemming from unfamiliarity, greed, and the desire to retain power, drives a wedge between the worlds that we live in, and it's a shame. As a Pee-wee football player in northeast Birmingham suburb of Centerpoint, I was introduced to boys who did not live as I did. Some had no fathers. Some had no beds. Even school attendance was a spotty obligation. Some had no authority figure in their lives beyond a football coach across town. Without that football coach, some would have eaten many fewer meals and had little to no instruction and discipline in early life. We didn't care as players. Marquise could run like a deer, was quick off the ball, was hilarious to be around. Desmond was tough, could make an open field tackle against anyone, was a blast to hang out with. We saw the living conditions, the skin color, the wardrobe, the slang, and saw a person, a teammate, a friend. We loved those guys. We didn't feel sorry for them, take it easy on them, try to appease them, make concessions because of them. They were part of our team, therefore they were a part of us. They were family. We held each other accountable, we pushed each other to improve, and ultimately enjoyed many years of dominance in youth football across the state and the South. Several high school teammates in football, basketball, and baseball were black. Never one time did we have an issue with race. And how could that possibly be? We hit each other every day. We yelled at each other. We trash talked each other. We were put in uncomfortable situations when we were fatigued. We competed against each other in an environment full of masculinity and testosterone, seemingly conducive to common bouts of emotional outbursts. Yet what I found was that instead of these things dividing us, they were unifying, because we had a goal, we had a mission, a creed, an understanding, a reliance, a belief, a respect in the teammate beside you, color be, you fill in the blank there. We loved and cared for each other because we shared mutual goals. We wanted to be champions. We wanted to taste success. Athletics united us in ways nothing else in society ever could. When I became an Auburn Tiger, I was the only scholarship white defender on the football team who traveled and played. In a defensive meeting room, I was the lone white guy. In the defensive backfield, I was the lone white guy. My teammates could have made that very difficult for me if they wanted to. They could have shunned me. They could not have embraced me for my obvious lack of melanin. They could have treated me as a foreigner, a castaway, and made life miserable for me. I was outnumbered and surrounded by others unlike me. Society would say I'd never make it. Athletics would beg to differ. Not only did my teammates go far beyond token acceptance and obligatory conversation in relationships, they took me under their wing. They protected me. They fought for me. They taught me the defense. They refined my technique. They were grooming me for success on Saturday because they needed to be able to count on me. They knew that their success, our team's success, hinged on me being successful as well. They joked with me. They taught me black fraternity signs and prodded me to throw them up after a good play on the field. They joked with me about heading down to Tuskegee after games to hang out with the black ladies. I joked with them by learning the lyrics to popular rap songs, bursting out with one on occasion. I joked with them by telling them that my speed was passed down by my black grandmother. In fact, in crucial moments of big games, I would promise that if we get a 3 and out on this drive, I'm going to Tuskegee tonight. They would run onto the field with guys yelling, "Pate, going to Tuskegee." We got several of those 3 and outs. I never once lived up to the promise. I was engaged or married during my entire Auburn tenure. We had no bitterness toward each other. We didn't allow society to separate us with a false narrative. We didn't view ourselves as superior in athleticism, intellect, or privilege. We were just friends, brothers, teammates, equals, family. We hurt for each other, prayed for each other, laughed together, battled together. Athletics unified us just as athletics has for every team I've participated with since age 5. It's one of the more unheralded aspects of sport. It has the power to bridge a social gulf like little else. It can force the most hardened heart to work with a dissimilar person towards a goal. It has been the impetus for relationships and experiences in my life that I otherwise would likely have never experienced. I believe I'm a more well-rounded, enriched, empathetic person because of the people athletics has placed around me. If more people in our country had the same experience I did regarding race through athletics, the Jesse Jacksons and Al Sharptons would no longer have the same influence, nor the white supremacist movement or lurid racism would yield few followers. Those forces seek to divide us on the differences we have inherited. Athletics does the exact opposite. It brings together people from worlds apart and teaches them to coalesce to obtain success. Politics can't do that. Society isn't doing that. Religion hasn't done that. Athletics does. You want your children to build a healthy, respectful, thoughtful outlook towards diversity? Sign them up to play on an athletic team with dissimilar races. You and your child will benefit immensely, as will society.